We're here in the tank stream underneath Hunter Street in Sydney CBD. The noise you can hear are the cars driving over the manhole in Hunter Street itself, and we're just a few metres under Australia Square, right in the middle of CBD. The tank stream was the first water supply for Sydney and a very important water source for Aboriginal people to drink from, bathe in and gather food and materials. When Arthur Phillip arrived in 1788, he arrived in a very wet summer. They thought that the creek was like the creeks in Europe, where they would flow all year round and never dry up. But the following year, there was a very bad drought in Sydney and the creek all but dried up. Arthur Phillip instructed his convicts to start to put these markings in the base of the channel, and this is where the metal implements were striking it to try and form the base of the channel to make it flow better in these dry conditions. When that didn't work, he got the convicts to install sandstone blocks, as you can see here, to try and make the water flow better and go into some large tanks which are carved either side of the tank stream, which gives the creek its name today. After about 10 to 20 years, the water was very polluted and the colonists couldn't use it to drink anymore.
I beg to call your attention to a serious nuisance at the tank stream, occasioned by some party having thrown several cartloads of rotten potatoes there. They've now been there about a month, and the stench from the decayed vegetable matter is scarcely bearable by the adjacent inhabitants. Your obedient servant, an inhabitant.
It is now the most intolerable of all civic nuisances, a receptacle for every description of putrescence without the means of purifying itself.
I've been nearly suffocated by the putrid smell from that horrid tank stream. It must be very injurious to the neighbourhood. When is the corporation going to repair it?
By 1825, the tank stream had been extremely polluted and people could no longer use it for drinking and bathing in. The reasons for this pollution was the clearing of land either side of the tank stream, as well as people introducing animals and human waste into the stream itself. To overcome this problem of controlling such a polluting stream through the middle of the town, the government ordered a cover to be placed over the tank stream, which we see today as this beautiful sandstone arch, which was installed in 1860. While the floor was installed by convicts, the roof was installed by stonemasons, who placed their maker's mark into a lot of the sandstone to show that they had done their work and get paid for it. We can see letters for the people who've carved these sandstone back in 1860, as well as shapes for the people who were illiterate and couldn't write their own name. The next evolution of the tank stream was the installation of structures, such as the one you see behind you, which is the Bennelong stormwater system, originally built to move wastewater around the city. This was a great innovation to get wastewater away from the populated areas out into the ocean to keep people healthier and to make the city more livable.
A very desirable improvement is also being effected in the covering of the tank stream, which has for a long time existed as an open sewer and has proved in many ways a great nuisance to the neighbourhood through which it passes. The stone is now being prepared for arching it over, and the annoyance so frequently complained of will soon be entirely removed.
The tank stream is one of the oldest sewers in Sydney and commences near Market Street. From Hunter Street to King Street, it is partly overformed and bricked.
By the 1870s, Sydney was becoming a very prosperous city, and the building of large buildings such as the General Post Office and railway stations meant that the classic tank stream structure that we see here couldn't support the large weight of these buildings. A solution was found in building an oviform structure, such as we see behind me. This was built to be a strong structure to carry wastewater and stormwater around the city, and have very strong bricks on the top, so very large buildings could be placed above it, and it had a self-cleaning section below to get that wastewater away quickly. The tank stream we see today is still a live stormwater asset and fills up very quickly during storm events. As you can see here in front of me and behind me, we still have large inlets that carry a lot of stormwater into the structure, and it fills up very quickly during a storm event. The tank stream is a great example of the many uses of water in the city over the many years of Sydney's history.